Well, it's 7 p.m., so let's go. Hello. Doesn't look like there's anyone here yet, so I'm just working on some sanding while I see if anyone shows up. I do have a plan for today, though. I have something I want to test out. Let's throw these over here. Because I had someone ask on a commission if I could put a metal chain in a die. And I expect that it's going to sink, but I have an idea for how I can make that happen, so I'm gonna... Hello! I think you're the first person here. I'm just doing a little sanding, and then I'm gonna switch over to doing some tests to try and figure out how to make a chain float in a die. I have an idea, but I'm just finishing up these last couple of dice. This is the long part of making dice, is sanding, getting everything even. Oh, your the set of dice that you ordered is all polished. I just need to... Oh, that's nice. Please do. The set of dice that I made for you is all polished. I just need to ink them and they'll be all set to go. So that's kind of exciting. And then I'm gonna be working on figuring out how to make the chain float. So let me just finish up this last set, and then we can move over to that. It depends on how difficult this ends up being. We'll see how difficult this ends up being, and then I'll let you know. I'm expecting it's going to be more expensive with the chain, because it's going to be a pain to try and place correctly. But we'll see. Maybe it'll end up being super easy, and I won't have to worry about it. Okay, there we go. I think that fixed my issue with this corner. Yeah, this has been my afternoon sanding dice. It's the super exciting part. Just trying off a little bit extra here with some fingernail clippers. They seem to work well for this. Yeah, I have, you can see my box of dice that I'm working to get ready for, I'm putting a whole bunch of stuff up in the shop on the first Friday in December. So I'm getting stuff ready so that I can start, I'm getting stuff sanded and ready so that I can actually get everything up in the shop, get some photos taken. So it's exciting, but it's like, now I've decided to do this, so it's happening. I gotta get things done. But, yeah, this is the sanding. That's why blue set closer to the screen. Which set? This one with the oh, let's see if it'll work. With the lily pads in it. This is one that I need to resand a little bit, because you can see how scratched up the surface is there. Yeah, this set's going to be available. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. I have 2 sets, actually, of lily pad dice. Yeah, this one you can see I've started to sand, but it's definitely not sanded down yet. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Come on, you can do it. Doesn't want to focus. Yeah, and the let's see, the D20. It's cloudy on top, so you can't see it at the moment. But the D20 that I made last time with the flowers in it turned out really pretty too. I might have to grab my planner works background. Here. See if I can just use this as a background. Okay. Is it gonna show up? Still doesn't want to find it. Still doesn't want to find it. Man, it does not want to find it. Come on. There we go. Has the flowers in there. I've just started sanding it so you can see the top there, but I think the flowers and everything turned out pretty in this one too. So now I actually have a full set. So yeah, I've got all sorts of things I need to do. Got a bunch more little mushroom necklaces I need to finish polishing up. There's all sorts of things in here. There's the purple set that we designed together. Also need to finish doing those, but see if it just, oh man. See if it'll find it. There we go. There's the red with the purple. Which set are you looking at, Bosun? The plant ones, or? Or the pond ones? The red and purple. Yes, I do plan on having those up in the shop, so that is the plan. I do really like the D6. I feel like it has a really good, like, trails in it. I've noticed on, like, the D20s, I really need to add more ink, because the top triangle, I was gonna say square, the top triangle is so small compared to the die itself that I end up with so little drips in it. It looks really cool still, but it's just a lot smaller than some of the other ones. But like the D6, I love it. It just has like the kind of the perfect amount. I do have some of the ones that we made last time too. They're not necessarily my favorite. There was the lemonade one turned out just kind of orange. There's kind of some variation in like the yellow and stuff, but it's mostly just orange and sparkly, which nothing against orange and sparkles, but let's see if I can get it. Oh, wow, it does not know what color there to make things. Yeah, it is kind of a little sun. The D10s on this one did not turn out for some reason. I don't know if I just had a bunch of bubbles in it or what. So this will probably just be a D20. The pink with the moss turned out weird. Turned out kind of funky, which, again, don't know if it's my favorite, but I feel like it's something that someone else might appreciate. It's a little funky with just the pink and the moss. I might ink it like a color to try and match the moss. I feel like that might be nice. Is it gonna... That was kind of my initial thought, was Caduceus clay. I should have put a little teacup in the D20. That would have been cute. I could have put a little teacup that I made. I'll put a little teacup. Oh, did I not? Have you not seen the little teacups that I made? This one, the inside ended up a little bit more orange than I would have liked, but I painted this one. Oops. There we go. Painted this one. Oops. It's so small. It's hard to move around. Yeah. So a little tiny teacup. Yeah. Yeah, I made that. I have a couple little tiny skulls too. A couple little tiny skulls. Also that I made out of polymer clay. Which way do I need to go to focus? Yeah, so I've made all sorts of little things out of polymer clay. I made some little cupcakes. Couple little cupcakes. Oops, let me flip those around so you can see. Couple little cupcakes with cherries on top. Yeah, no, like all of the mushrooms and like the mushroom necklaces that I've made out of polymer clay. Oh, here's like a bone that I made. I do want to make desert dice at some point, and I made little tiny cactuses for whenever I get around to that. That's a plan I have at some point. Do kind of like a sandy layer and then put the cactuses in there, and then do probably clear. Yeah, I have all sorts of things. There's a different little mushroom I've made some little Amanita muscarias. Yeah, I need to try and remake some of those red mushrooms, because I want to add those as an option with the mushroom necklaces that I make. But those ones, the tops are too big, and so here, I have an example here. There's a couple problems. One, the kind of skirt that it has, I don't know what you call that. The clay that I have is partially transparent, and it just ends up kind of looking cloudy in here instead of actually showing up. Yeah, there you go. And then also the top there is too big, and so the resin has trouble getting down into there, and I end up with big bubbles. Come on. I don't know. Come on, you can do it. How close can I get? Oh, you can focus pretty close, actually. There we go. I can bring things super close to this camera. That's nice to know. Yeah, see, it ends up with big bubbles because the top's so big. Yeah, I probably could try and fill in some of those bubbles, but I think it'll be easier to just make the cap just a little bit smaller so that the resin can get down in there. I have kind of a problem with these ones. But I have kind of a system down to get the resin down there. Yeah, there's a rough spot on this one I need to sand off. There's a couple. These are both ones that I need to. They had like a bubble at the top I just need to fill in. Oh, well, thank you. Let me just finish this up, and then we'll try out my plan. My master plan! Wahaha! I have to say, the hardest part I have found so far of the voice acting course that I've taken, the hardest thing... To the lab! Everyone, to the lab! The hardest part is trying to laugh in character. I can't do it. I'm just gonna have to go like drive around in my car by myself and just like laugh maniacally to myself, cause it's like so difficult to try and just laugh. And it might sound weird, but yeah, I can't laugh in character. Can't do a maniacal laugh. Never been able to do a maniacal laugh. Cackle like the mad scientist. That's the thing, I can't. That's like the one thing that I just cannot do. And so I'll go drive around in my car and practice. Because I feel like that's the right place to do it. No one can judge me when I'm driving around in my car by myself. I make a very poor mad scientist. I don't have the laugh down for it. It's the only thing holding me back. As soon as I can laugh like a mad scientist, it's over for y'all. There's just gonna be, you know, world domination, free puppies for all. No, that's not right. Alright. It's over. You guys won't even know what hit ya. As soon as I can maniacally laugh, you know. I'm almost done. This just takes a while. I have kind of a pottery wheel set up next to me, which actually does pretty well for taking off quite a bit at a time. I think it'd be a little bit loud at the moment. It's not super loud, but I don't have to try and bring it over here to show you or something. So I'm just gonna finish this up by hand. Yeah, this right here is the reason that handmade dice are so expensive. The pouring of, well, it's an art form. There's design work that goes into it, but the real ton comes in with the sanding and the polishing. I have tried out the tumbler that I set up to hopefully make the polishing a little bit quicker, and that seems to be working great. I do still, I have still found that I take it down, so I have a whole series of polishing papers here. This is the roughest, and then it goes to the smoothest. And there's 6 different papers here. Yeah, 6 different papers here. And before I was going from like a sandpaper to the green to all the way down. So that was like 7 different ones. Oh, hi Avalon Dice, thanks for joining us. I'm just finishing up some sanding, and then we're gonna test out trying to make a metal chain kind of float in a set of dice. I might not pour the dice today, but we're gonna see if we can get something figured out. I was just talking about how the sanding, though, is the reason that handmade dice are so expensive, because it takes forever, and you have to be somewhat accurate with it. Yes, I did get a tumbler recently. So instead of doing, okay, I was doing a sandpaper, which I've gotten rid of because it gave me too many scratches. So I do the first 3 of these, and then throw them into the tumbler for a day and a half or so, and they turn out so shiny. Wait, I think I have, oh no, I didn't bring those downstairs, sorry. I had an example of one that I had thrown in the tumbler and one that I hadn't thrown in the tumbler, and the one that I threw in the tumbler was so shiny. It's been nice. It's somehow saved so much time just doing 3 instead of all 6. Christmas list. Yeah, that was the hardwood medium for it was apparently a gift from my grandma for Christmas. She was like, get something for yourself for Christmas, here's your budget. And so that's what I ended up getting. So I just got a whole bunch of little cubes of wood for Christmas for my grandma. Hey, I am a-okay with this. It's great. Makes it so much. I've only tried it out a couple of times, but it really does seem to work to make the dice nice and shiny. And I finally decided that I'm going to do kind of a release of a whole bunch of different sets of dice on the first Friday in December. So now I'm trying to get everything ready for that. So I'm just getting these all sanded. I'm going to do the next couple ones, not right now, but do the next couple ones and then throw these in the tumbler. Oh, you're going to be there? Oh, that's sweet. Thanks. I think I put the info down in the About section with my shop info. I do have some dice up there already, just because I haven't had them already made, but I figured it was kind of easier to build hype this way. I was originally going to try and do a different set of dice available every Friday, but I think I like this better because I was overthinking things a bit. Oh yes, I do soap as well. That's what I started out with. A lot of my resin colorants have come from my soap. If you look behind me, this shelf over here, I don't know how much you can see, but there's a whole shelf of like soap colorants. I really enjoy making soap, but the kind of soap that I make the smallest number of bars I can make at a time is 10. And so when I was doing like a holiday bazaar every year and that sort of stuff, that worked out great. But I wasn't selling as well online with the soap, so I haven't done as much of that recently, but it is really fun to do. I might try and stream making soap at some point. Let me set these down here. Oops, what did I just knock down? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Where is I'm setting these over here. I do like watching people make soap. I was thinking, oh, I did not realize this was in my way. Let's scoot that over a little bit. I have watched people on like YouTube make soap and that sort of stuff, and I definitely enjoy watching it on there. It can get loud with all the mixing and everything, so I don't know. I've been thinking it might be fun to make some YouTube videos, because like with the resin stuff, you don't get to see, like if I'm streaming, you don't get to see how it turns out in the same stream. So I was thinking it might be fun to reverse ASMR video, just so loud. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, Aah! Which I feel like is not what you want. And it's the same with the soap. It's the same with the soap, because I don't unmold the soap to cut it until the next day as well, because you have to let it set up for a little bit. There's a few reasons that I've kind of been enjoying resin almost a little bit more than soap. And that's for two reasons. Well, three reasons actually. One, I can make things, I can make small amounts of things at a time. With the soap, like I said, I end up making 10 bars of soap at a time, minimum. It lasts longer because soap does have a shelf life, because it has oils in it, which can go bad after a time. And what was the third thing I was going to say? I don't remember what the third thing was that I was going to say. Maybe there was only two things. I can make smaller amounts and it lasts longer. I don't remember what it was. I think the cat has already scratched at the door today. So I don't know, she might be back. We'll see if a cat shows up. Okay, I have an idea. So I grabbed a little piece of chain here, and the goal is we want this to appear like it's floating in a dye. It's an experiment. We'll see how it goes. I just had an idea. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna cut this up into smaller piece, just we can test it. All right. So here's my thought. This itself obviously is not going to not going to float in resin. It's metal. It's heavier. Maybe if I added it like at the very end when it's just starting to gel up, but I don't think it's going to. So what I'm going to try and do is get it into kind of a shape that I want, which might be difficult. I'm just going to try it straight first and see if this works. And then I'm going to try and make it a solid piece with UV resin. And then, depending on how that goes, I might be able to build a little bit of a structure around it, like stilts, to get it set where I want in the dye. Because the plan was also to do a Petri style dye. Petri style dye, yeah, around it. So if I had it on stilts, hopefully that wouldn't mess it up too much. It'd just kind of flow around it a little bit. So we're just gonna try that. Let me grab my UV light. Phone. I'm using the same cord that I use to charge my phone that I'm going to use for the UV light. So one or the other sort of situation. So But at first, I think I'll just see if this will work by just putting some UV resin on here. I'm not blocking you, am I? I put down the silicone mat because my workspace is, okay, just now I'm gonna do this. My workspace is obviously a little messy. I'm just gonna try and get UV resin over all of that. Let's set it in a line. And put the cap on that so I don't mess that up. And see if that will kind of cure. And I'm hoping that I put a little enough on there that it's still a little malleable and I might be able to kind of put it into a curlicue. But we'll see. Yeah, this might be a little bit of a shorter stream just because I wasn't really planning on pouring any dice tonight. I might do a couple of pigment tests. I don't know how that's curing. So I have little tests for all of my pigments. This is all my mica powders, all my alcohol inks, allspice. There's cinnamon in here too. Let's see, cloves, cinnamon, coffee grounds, cumin. It's all sorts of things. And I got I got some glow-in-the-dark pigments, which I'm not going to put in here because I don't, yeah. Why, thank you. I always like an excuse to actually change out of my pajamas. Always makes me feel better. But I have these for all of my colors, and I got some glow-in-the-dark pigments recently, and I'm not going to put them in to these chips because I don't want to waste them because there's not a ton of them. But I did get some free samples with those that I just want to try out to put into little testers, so just so I have them. Thanks. I kind of want to change maybe the cord they're on because it's very hard to like move them around. They just get like all, I can't find the ones that I'm looking for, but I'm not quite sure what I would do to make them a little bit easier, a little bit more they're a little unwieldy at the moment. Also, hello Jen, thank you for joining us. And also, hello Simmons Lives. It's nice to meet you. Get some spacers. Oh, that's not a bad idea. I'd have to figure out. I wonder how much space I would have though. I don't know. I was debating at one point just like gluing each individual one to like a sheet of paper, but I kind of like being able to see through it. There's options, lots of options. But the point being, I got these new colors as testers. Yeah, they're little freebies that were thrown in with the glow powder that I got. And a couple of them, like this one changes color, apparently, at 22 degrees Celsius. I don't know. I think it turns white. There's a gold, there's a pink, and then this one's fun. I love UV changing color, guys. I don't know why, I've always loved things that change with UV light. It makes me think of like some shirts that my parents had when I was a kid that would change color when you went outside. What was that place called? I don't remember what that place was called. It had something, oh well, it definitely made it stiffer. Let's see if I can, oop, it's a little. Oh, actually, that might work, guys. I think that might work. Cause look, I can bend it into a shape. I can bend it into a shape, guys. I don't know how this might impact the weighting of the dice. I do want to put that out there. We might end up pouring a die today just to see how well this works. But I just want to see. So if I can just put it in here without any sort of stilts. It works! Ooh, Stuart Semple does have some good pigments. Also, I like how his feud with Anish Kapoor. Does Stuart Semple have some good UV pigments, Bosun? Also, Bosun, since you're the one that kind of had this idea of putting a chain in resin, were you thinking of multiple little pieces? Oh, some glow ones. Oh, yes, I have seen some cool glow powders. I might have to get some. Oops, I might have to redo that because I just kind of broke it. Not the chain, but the resin. Yes, I have seen lit. That's a glow in the dark one, which I do also like glow in the dark things. That's where I got these. Was I ordered a multi-pack of glow in the dark colorants. Both Jen and Teacup Beta, if they show up, got dice recently that have glow in the dark pigments in them. And yes, I do really like glow in the dark pigments, and I'll probably have to try those out at some point. But this one just changes color with UV light, so if you like go outside, it goes from white to pink, and I just really like that, guys. It's just really fun. It's just really fun, guys. Okay, okay, that went easier than I expected, guys. Let me do one thing. No. Okay, I'm gonna use this metal piece because oh, shift. I think that's a liquid pigment. Maybe. I've seen that. I've definitely, yeah, like the unicorn one. I've definitely looked through all of those pigments because they're really cool. But I'm gonna try and, yeah, the problem with liquid paints, they're sometimes, okay, you can't, a lot of liquid paints are water-based, like acrylics are a water base, and you can't mix water with resin or it won't cure. You can sometimes use like a tiny bit. I think I should try out acrylic paints in resin, like a small amount, because I think like the resin pigment that I have might be a water base. And if you use too much, like more than a couple of drops, it's gonna just not cure. But so it's, I'd love to be able to, but yeah, I can't really use. Am I going to permanently attach this? Let me just a second here. Let me put a glove on. I'm not as worried about the UV resin, I feel like, but I'm still gonna put a glove on. I'm hoping I don't permanently attach this to this. I just wanted something to kind of hold the shape while I cure it. The resin you used doesn't immediately dye to nail polish remover. Which resin are you talking about? The UV stuff here or the 2-part resin that I use? I do have a whole bottle of acetone upstairs. Oh, that's interesting. Even if I do attach it permanently, it'll look cool. Oh, for your dice. Okay, I'm glad that it doesn't immediately dye to nail polish remover. Oh boy. Yeah, I know that some of it can get worked down with acetone. That's why I usually use rubbing alcohol, because I know that it's good for cleaning things, but also isn't gonna eat away. You had some fun with science. All right. So, okay, but yes, Bosun, because you were the one that was talking about adding chain to dice. Were you thinking a lot of little pieces of chain, or like one chain going through the middle, or going kind of spiraling on the outside, maybe? Once use acetone to make your dice matte without sanding all the faces. It's very stressful. There's glitter all over your desk? Why is there glitter all over your desk? I hope that wasn't from me somehow. Did I send you glitter? Glitter! For science! Excellent. Excellent. Glitter science, exactly. Simmons knows what's going on. Alright. So if there's just like one, I could probably just spiral it. Let's see if I can show you guys what I have here. I could do a longer piece too than this, but I could spiral it a little bit. You welcome glitter the same way you welcome the Fae. One main big piece per dice. If some bent up open links going, that would be super cool. Okay. Okay, actually, here's my thoughts. So I could do one main big piece a lot easier than I could do multiple pieces of chain. Because if you look in here, let's see if I can get it to show up. Let's see if it'll focus. It doesn't want to focus. There we go. I can kind of twirl it up on the side almost a little bit, if that makes sense. I'd probably do a slightly longer piece than this and have it twirl more. I could do some little tiny pieces. So here's some like a couple of broken pieces that I went from when I cut it. Here's like half a piece. It's not going to show up because it's so small. I could do that the same way that I did Teacup Beta's butterflies, and that was I also coated them in UV resin, and then I stuck that to the outside, like the faces of the mold. It would be harder to suspend them in the middle, but they would still kind of look like they were floating then, because they'd be a little bit off of the face. They'd have a little bit of resin in between them and the actual face of the die. So I think that would be doable. Yeah, that'd be doable. This turned out easier than I thought it would. So we could call that a simple inclusion. I think that'll be easy enough to do. We could do that. We can do that. And I'll throw this in here. We can, So wait, which tier? Just the standard. I'd say just do standard. This turned out to be a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So that will be just fine. Just gotta set that in a little drop. Yeah, I'm glad that this worked out actually. I wasn't sure how complicated it would be, but this turned out a lot easier than I was thinking it would. Let me just double check this. Just gonna make just a couple little like drops that have pieces of chain in them. Did you still want to send me some chain, particular chain to put in these? Make sure that's closed. Or do you want like just gold chain? We can discuss that later. That's fine. Cool. Let me put this resin away because I think that's all good to go. Man, this is gonna be a short stream, guys. Throw this over here. I think we're all good with that. All right, let me find. Well, let's make some testers then. I'm gonna find some cups here. I have whichever you'd prefer. So I'll message you probably after the stream in Etsy, and we can get that figured out. Make sure these cured. Yep. So I have just these little drops. We'll see if it'll show up. Come on, show up. Come on, you can show up. Basically a little drop with a piece of chain in it. And then I'll just take that because it's flat on one side. Oops. I'll take that and I just stick it into, it just, because it's kind of a plastic, it sticks pretty well too. Let's see if I'll show you here. See if I can find it. You can kind of see that circle there. That's one of those drops just stuck into the corner of the die. So, yeah, that should be doable. That should be doable. Okay. Let's make some little testers since that went quick. I might still have to use these in a die at some point. I'll set them over here to do that later. So one of the first things I actually did was I took all of the different mica powders that I have, because my whole family does lots of craft stuff. I inherited all of my polymer clay from my grandma, because she used to do polymer clay jewelry. And I also inherited her Pearl X powders, which are awesome. So, like, they're just these containers of different micas, basically, but they're beautiful. And some of them are like dual shift. So, like, this is duo blue green. It looks blue here, but let's see if I can actually show you. We'll see if I can get it to show the green, but it has kind of a green shine to it. And if I were to dust it on something and then put like black behind it, you would end up with kind of like a beetle wing green. Still doesn't want to focus. Don't take into account the strange scratches on these dice. These were tests. But anyways, really pretty pigment. So one of the first things I did when I decided I was going to make dice was I took all of the mica powders. I love that beetle wing. It's just kind of that deep blue-green color. I love it. So I took those and I took all of the mica powders that I had from soap making and the other pigments, because you use mica powder in soap making. I have big containers of it. Here, I'll just grab one to show you. Here, here's one. I just have these big jars of mica powder that I ordered from a soap making website. And I'm like, they're powders. I could put those into resin. Let's try that out. And so I took all of those. I took a little bit and put them in all of the cups. And I labeled the cups. You can see it's worn off, but there's labels on it. And mixed up a little tiny bit of resin and made all of these. I made more later. I did my alcohol inks and some of the other pigments later. But all of my soap pigments and those, gotta leave early. Oh, okay. Thanks for stopping by, Jen. See you later. Have fun. Oh, activated charcoal. That sort of stuff. Glitter friends. What was I saying? Yeah, I went and tested them all out. So I ended up with a whole bunch of cups that were used. So I tried to reuse those for new things. Oh, that is water from sanding. I was like, why is there resin in a cup? It's not. It's a little cup of water. So let's find. I'm going to try and find 4 cups that are mostly, if they have a little bit of pigment in them, they're going to be of a similar color, so I don't mess things up too much. Hopefully don't have any pigment in them at all, but what was on this one? They're just like some little pieces of resin. Alright, let's see here. So we got a purple that turns white. I actually had a hot pink. Do I still have the cup from the hot pink? I see the cup from the hot pink, because I had a different hot pink that I tested. Yeah, that one was from a hot pink that I tested. Right here. And I'm glad that I did this, because it did make me realize that it looks almost more red in the camera, but that's very bright pink. It is a little bit darker. One of the things that I realized in trying things out in resin, as opposed to just looking at them as they are, they seem to get a little bit darker in the resin compared to just as a loose pigment. So like the, where is it? Well, this blue pigment here. Really pretty aquamarine, or not aquamarine, cobalt blue color. I don't remember what it's called exactly. And then, ultramarine blue. And then I went and I put it in here, and it looks almost black. It's just so dark. Cobalt is so nice. It's my mom's favorite color. I made her. Oh, here I can show you the set of dice that I made for my mom too. They're in here. I moved a whole bunch of things. Nope, that's the wrong one. Where's the one for my mom? Oh no, did I knock it over? Just a second. I found it. This is my little box of dice that I'm keeping for myself. I made these on the stream last time, just with all different blues. Doesn't want to focus necessarily. But blue glitter, a light blue. Just gonna move it closer and closer until it. And I got that little speckling effect that I wanted on the 20 face. Yeah, this doesn't want to focus. Let's see if I can. And this one has a good show of some of the multiple blue colors. If it'll. Yeah, you can see the lighter blue there. There we go. Some of the glitter, some of the darker blues. Yeah, I used a blue that I knew kind of fell to the bottom because I like the kind of speckling effect that it has. There you go. You can kind of see the spots of that really dark blue. That's that same ultramarine blue that I was showing before. Oh, let me block whoever this is. No, that's not what I wanted. How do I block? There we go. Ban. There we go. I figured it out. How do I get out of that? Oh no, how do I get out of this? Oh, there's the X. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Oh, they're bad. They bad tonight. I've gotten a couple already. It's just really annoying. Chat forever in moderating. I should set up a moderator in my chat. At some point, I'll reach out to folks. I'm gonna make a set for both my mom and my dad for Christmas. And I already made my brother's set, but I grew up playing D&D with my family. That's where I started playing D&D. So it works out. It works out. Okay, what was I saying? Portrait. Yeah. My dad played D&D. I grew up on 2nd edition. Like, my dad played, I think, 1st edition. And then we played it together as a family. And I would always play an elf ranger. And my mom would always play a human cleric. And my brother would play like a dwarf fighter. And we'd just do little one-shots that my dad would draw up on graph paper. Like, do dungeons, he'd draw them up on graph paper, and then we'd run through them. Oh, you just started in 5e? Oh, cool. I like 5th edition. I really don't remember the rules at all for 2nd edition because I was fairly young. Oh, that one's purple. Let's do this one. I was fairly young at the time. I went and looked at the books recently, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know what any of this means. I like 5th edition, though. I like 5th edition. I might just be biased because I know how 5th edition works at this point. But we started in 3.5. Ooh, yeah. I did find I think we tried switching to 3.5 at one point because I found the old 3.5 books in the same bag as the 80 Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, which is the 2nd edition. I should go pull those books out at some point. Okay. Man, I'm stalling putting my respirator on to actually work on this. Just a second, let me roll my sleeves up. Oh, not fun figuring out 3.5 with undiagnosed ADHD while a little bit drunk. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun looking back as someone who was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 26 and being like, oh, they should have caught this earlier. Oh, kept reading the same page in the player's handbook like 5 times. It's been nice for me because my brother's my brother has been obsessed with D&D since he was a little kid, and so he's known the rules, so it works out pretty well. He usually knows what needs to be done. So it's just like, hey, you wanna explain what's going on? He makes really cool D&D maps. One of my favorites, he designed an entire mansion that was crazy. It was, the premise was that it was a mansion that only appeared every 10 years, and every 10 years it was a different kind of structure. So like one year it was a pyramid, the year that our group showed up there it was a mansion, and it was created by a lich, a demon, and a dragon, I think, for the sole purpose of their amusement. But people showed up because there was a lot of loot and a lot of fame and fortune that you could get from out of this mansion. And it was it was so intricate, guys. It was a really cool setting. Like there was a whole room of paintings, and the paintings all led to different places. And I was playing, at the beginning of the campaign, I was playing a druid that had been trapped on this island for the past 10 years and was fairly crazy. And one of the paintings led to like her house. It was really fun. Yeah, my favorite moment of that game though was the last session, and we were just kind of wrapping up. And I was playing a ranger named Eamon, and we ended up with a deck of many things because we were wrapping it up. We were like, screw it. And I drew a card that, were we playing Pathfinder? We might have been playing Pathfinder at that point. I think we were playing Pathfinder, not D&D. But I drew a card that I could basically wish to undo any. I could wish myself out of a situation. Only myself, no one else. But I could basically say, I wish that I hadn't walked into this room, or that, something like that. And so I could reverse time just for myself. And so the last game, we took our 2 bags of holding, and I said, hey, I know where the lich is at. And so I went and I took the 2 bags of holding, and I walked calmly over to where the lich was. No one else in our group had figured out where the lich was at. And I walked into the room, I closed the door. None of the rest of the party's here because I was going alone. And I'm just like, hey boss, what's up? Because I had been playing a minion for the lich for the past 5 sessions or whatever, whenever I switched over from the druid to the ranger. I was playing a doppelganger ranger that no one knew they were a doppelganger. I did actually blow up the lich just because I was chaotic neutral and it sounded like fun, but the looks of betrayal from the people at the table was so perfect. It made me so happy. Everyone was just like, what? What do you mean, boss? Boss? Alright, I'm gonna put the respirator on now. I'm probably gonna get all muffled. Oh, let me take these off so I can actually put this on. Alrighty. So, I don't need very much, because I'm just gonna do probably 10, probably a little bit less than 10, but not too muffled? Okay, cool. Alright, I'm gonna do, yeah, I'll do 10 milliliters. I'll do 10 milliliters. I'm just pour into one of these. This one seems to be mostly empty. Just a second here. I might have to pour from my big jugs into my small containers so that I can actually like pour such a small amount. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get messy for a second here. I'm just gonna take the, oh man. I still have some of the foil, that like the seal, that foil seal that's at the top. Let me pull that off and throw that away. Alright. And do the same for this one. Let's try not to mix these too much. Make sure these are wiped off. I don't want to get one of the lids stuck on like I did with my big things of resin. You should see the lid for one of the big things of resin. I'll show you in a moment. See my shame. Just a second. Alright. I'm gonna show you the lid for one of my big things of resin. I got the lid stuck. I must have somehow gotten a little bit of the other type just onto the lip here, and so it got stuck on here. So I'm like, I'm not putting that back on. I've done it twice. I can't get it off, so I just stuck a little thing here so that nothing got in. Alright, is this gonna make it any easier? Is it gonna make it any easier if I pour this in? You know what? I think I'm just gonna fill these small containers as much as I can, and then I have new things of the big ones, so I can pull those out later. These are, I'm glad that I ordered more because I have quite a bit left, but I'm running out, if that makes sense. Oh man, this one is so viscous. It takes forever. This is why I'm pouring it into the smaller container, because this thing is so viscous that one blot from this container is just so much. Which is fine when I'm making dice, where the smallest amount that I want to put in there is 15 milliliters. I guess 10 milliliters. In this case, I want to put in 5 milliliters of this, so a third of that. So I want to do 10 milliliters total instead of 30. Yeah, it's, let me see if I can move this forward so you guys can see, because it's, oops. Alright, let me move this forward. I'll try not to get it on my keyboard over here. I am just sitting here waiting for stuff to pour out. So thanks for showing up, Simmons Lives and Avalon Dice. I know that you make dice, Avalon. Do you make arts and crafts as well, Simmons? And have you made anything fun lately, Avalon? While I pour this in. I'm just getting stuff ready for sale. Oh, Bosa told you. Oh, I'm glad that you could be here too. Ooh, you make perfumes. You also collect hobbies. I feel that. Obviously, I've gone from soap to resin. I do painting. I've done some polymer clay stuff, which I was showing off earlier. I could bring those back out to show off. I dabble in so many different things. They make good perfume, and you love them. Perfume, that is really cool that you make perfume. That's really cool. It's fun. I bet. Do you just like mix, how do you even do that? Is there like a base and you mix different fragrances into it? Or is it like a whole chemical process of some sort? It sounds really cool. Like with the soap that I make, I've gotten mostly pre-made fragrances and use them. I also sew and leathercraft and make messes with resin. I think we all make messes with resin. You got stuck on small business TikTok and you call your mom. I need a pottery wheel and a bandsaw, stat. Yeah, I haven't really checked out TikTok all that much. I'm still debating where I want. Man, there's so many social medias. It's a crafting emergency. There's so many places. Don't make your own oils yet, but you think with your next move you may get the equipment for that. Oh, okay, cool. I think I looked up how to do that at one point, making like essential oils and stuff, because you basically like boil the things through the oil. I think I was looking it up at one point and it looked difficult. It looked like a complicated process. Not super complicated, but like it would take some equipment. Yeah, I am curious about the small business side of TikTok. You evaporate through the material. Okay. This chapter's on there. I just got stuck in a 3-hour watching loop. I'm not sure whether I should create a TikTok for my business or not. There's just so many different platforms. I'm debating whether I want to start trying to make videos for YouTube, but TikTok might be nice because I feel like that's shorter form. And the main reason, there's a few reasons that I like streaming, guys. One of them is that I do not like editing. Really don't like editing. I don't have the patience for it. I don't mind filming. Not a big fan of editing. Yeah, TikTok is a lot less effort than YouTube. Maybe I'll have to go that route. I just feel like streaming is fun for like the social aspect, but it makes me kind of sad that people can't see the final product, or even how far we've gone at the end. What with resin, because with the dice and everything, you don't get to see it until the next day. Yeah, editing is a skill, and there's some amazing editors out there, and I'm like, it's an art form. You can do whatever. Stream because you got to talk to people. Random plants. You're gonna make essential oils out of the random plants. Is that the plan? Okay, I think that's enough. I'll worry about getting the rest out of here later. Where's my lid? Where did I put the lid, guys? Oh no! Oh no! Where did I put the lid? Oh, that's the other thing with soap. Soap is fun to make. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to cure, so you can't use the soap for 4 to 6 weeks. Where's the lid, guys? Am I blind? Where did I put the... Wait. I see it. Right here. It's right in front of me. Oh, lots of note-taking and recipes and trial and error. It sounds really cool. I don't know that I have the brain space to take up another hobby right now, but it does sound really cool. Soap would kill you. There's different kinds of soap making. Oops, I forgot. This one is not as viscous. There's different kinds of soap making. I have a friend that does melt and pour soap, where it's an already pre-made soap base, and then you melt it. You can add colorants and stuff, and then you just pour it in. You can use it immediately as soon as it hardens up, because it hardens up with... Uh-oh, guys. Which one is a black lid and which one is the white lid? Oh wait, I'm assuming it's the same for my big jugs. And the viscous one was the white lid. We're gonna... Just a second here. Oh no, yeah. I don't know, guys. Wait, someone go back in the videos, look! I'd like to learn to make goat soap. There's again options for making soap with like goat milk. There is if you want to do melt and pour, there is soap bases. with goat milk. If you want to do cold process soap, which is what I do, which is lye and oils. Don't do it around kids or pets. Make sure you have your safety goggles and everything on. You need to, I haven't tried it with milk, but I've seen people say that you need to make it into ice cubes first to add it, because if you add sugars to cold processed soap, it gets really, really hot. And that's why with my, oh here, I have some right here, my honey soap, that, let me take this off, I don't want to get resin on the, did we decide which one's which, guys? This kind of soap that I make is definitely an exothermic reaction. That's part of the reason you have to be careful, because you're working with lye. Just mixing the lye with the water. Black seems to be the more liquidy one. Well, we'll see if we get the cap stuck on these. We'll find out. Well, while I go and grab the soap, I'll put those lids back on. I probably, just like, I'm just going to take this off while I show off soap. I want to be able to take this off, though. I'm going to show you some honey soap. And actually, this is a good example. So, oh, I should actually list these. These are good to go. So for the honey soap that I make, you can see how there's kind of a brown spot in the middle. And that's because I've put actual honey in the soap, which makes a really nice hard bar of soap, but adding the sugar to the soap makes it get really, really hot. And so I actually put this in the freezer to cure. It smells really good. A lot of soaps, it depends on what you're doing, but people actually want them to get warm because it'll make the colors brighter. In this case, I put it in the freezer because I don't want it to burn. And you can see, even though I left it in the freezer for like 24 hours, I probably should have left it in another day because it did kind of burn and crystallize a little bit. Still perfectly usable and everything, but it makes it a little bit more fragile and makes it more brown in the middle. Science facts with Liz. Oops. I'm wearing socks and I almost slipped and fell. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's gel phase. That's what it's called. If depending on the pigment, some of them, you have to look and see what the pigments do. I've got a lot of stuff from Brambleberry, and it's nice because they have charts of. It's a soap making website. That's where I got a lot of my pigments, but they make charts that show the color in cold processed soap, with and without gel phase, and then in like melt and pour soap. So it's helpful. Okay, let's actually do resin now. Alright. That was the other thing I was going to say with the resin. That's what it was. It's more immediate. I was trying to think of, I was like, there's three reasons that I've been enjoying resin over soap. One, I can do smaller amounts. Two, it lasts longer. Three, I have more immediate results. So I can use things, or like, see how things turn out and stuff after 24 hours instead of, well, I mean, I guess I can see how soap turns out after 24 hours, but I can use whatever I make after 24 to 48 hours instead of 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, exactly. Instant satisfaction. Just put this back on. Alright, let me actually get these out here. I don't need this anymore. You can see my dirty resin workspace instead. Alright, these are the ones we're going to test. I'm just going to do 5 of each because I just need about 10. To get 2.5 in each one. Oh, actually, before I even do that, guys, let me just, just a second, guys. I'm gonna just do it in a new one. I'm gonna put the pigment into the cups. before I pour the resin. That makes it so much easier if I just actually put a little bit of pigment to all of these cups. Yeah, that's something I think I really enjoy, like painting, because I can see the progress of how things are going as I work on it, and it's very satisfying. I like having a visual representation that I'm getting something done. That's something that I really like about the arts in general, is that I know when it's done. And 2, I can see progress on it usually. And painting is so hard. I really enjoy painting. I could pull up a couple of my paintings. I did a painting class fairly recently. It was one of the last classes that I took for, let's see. No, I don't have it there. I'm just gonna pull up. Here's one I did in acrylic. Oops. So here's a painting I did for a painting class fairly recently in acrylic. And I have been thinking that it might be fun to do a stream where I paint. I was thinking of doing like a poll to see what I should put in a still life and then painting a still life, because I think that'd be kind of fun. But I really enjoy painting, partially because you can kind of see how it goes. One of the types, here, let me hide that again. One of the things that we did in that painting class, why is it sticky over here, was we did en plein air paintings, which were outdoor, and it's very expressionist, it's very much about how the light feels versus painting what's actually there. And you start out by first paint the complementary colors in a really, really thin light wash, and this is all in oils. Really, really thin light wash, let that kind of dry. And then you start with the darkest colors and you put those in, and then you start building up lighter and lighter. And because it's oils and it stays wet for a long time, they mix together a little bit. Do I have a picture of those? I don't know if I have a picture of those, guys. I'm sure I have one on my phone. If I can get this has just become show and tell now. Those paintings I did not like at all until I added the last color. And it's kind of strange. It was just kind of strange because I was like, these look terrible. I don't like them. They're not turning out. And then I actually, it was after this. We also did. Well, here was the first. Keep in mind that this is a painting that's about like this big. It's not very big. Oh, come on, I don't want that. But so you take all the darker, you do the Liz's hobby night. You can kind of see the oranges and stuff in the tree. That's the first layer, and then you start with like your darker colors and you slowly build up the lighter colors on top. So this was the very first one I did, and it was just like a little tiny thing. En plein air. Here, I can type it into the chat. I think that's how it's spelled. I might be wrong. There might not be an I, but en plein air. And it's just very, very all about. This one I did not like until like the next day, or actually until I put it further away, because it didn't look like much. This one looks better from further away, I feel like. This was the second one I did, just looking down into the canyon at the end of the road. But here, let me find one of the final paintings, because oh, here, this is how it starts. That's what I mean. Come on. This is what I mean by it looks. You do the complementary colors, a really thin wash of the complementary colors. It looks ridiculous when you start, and that then turns into. Let me find the final photos of that. Why did I do that in a square? That then turns into that. With the bushes and the trees and everything. And then my final one, we ended up doing 4. Where was my final one? It's funny because I did not like my final one as much, but it seemed to be other people's favorite. I think partially because of the clouds and stuff, but and there's the final one looking out my, like, this was from my front yard. Oh, it's just gonna focus. You know, looking at it all blurry, it just looks like a picture. Now that I'm looking at it, there we go. Yeah, you can see the shadows and everything. Yeah, all of those paintings, I really hated them until I put the last little pigment on it, and then I'm like, oh, actually this looks pretty nice. But I love painting, guys. I've been thinking I should do a painting stream. But I should actually do resin first, which is what I was talking about doing. Oh, I'm adding these to the cups. Oh, thank you. I am thinking that I might try to do, so I'm trying to reach 50 followers. Partially so I can reach affiliate, but also because it was requested that I make an emote of my face looking really dumb from a previous stream, the one on Halloween actually, which is why I have weird stuff on my face. And I realized that I can't do that until I reach affiliate, so no new emotes until that. But I'm thinking that as a reward, apart from having a emote of my face, I might try to do like a longer stream where I do more arts and crafts than just resin. I'm trying to figure out how long I want to do, because I've done a 5-hour stream and just doing polymer clay. I did a 5-hour stream just doing polymer clay, and that's doable. And I'm debating whether I want to go longer than that or not, because the 5 hours was fine. I'd probably start a little bit earlier in the day than 7, which is when I usually start. But I don't know how long I want to go. But I do think it would be fun to do. Oh, there's like little pink and blue specks in this one. That's interesting. Okay. Just doing a little bit in each one. Should not take very much. But I'm thinking that once I reach 50 followers, or maybe right before I reach 50 followers, I'll do a longer stream and maybe a giveaway of either a piece of jewelry or a set of dice or something. Still deciding on stuff. Oh boy, I don't know if you guys can see how bright that. It actually it picks up the color pretty well. That is bright. That's so bright. It's one of those colors where I feel like the camera does not do it justice, and my eyes hurt a little bit just looking at it. Okay. It really doesn't take a lot of pigment usually to color these things. So there we go. We have those off to the side. That's actually set up now. I'm ready to go. Okay. Resin for real. Put my stuff back on. I just hate wearing the respirator. I feel like it's hard to talk. Luke, I am your father. Alright. Resin for real. Take 7. And slate. Just a second, guys. This might take a minute. Nope. Come on. You can do it, fingers. You can do it. I'm glad that I don't have a whole bunch of resin on these yet. There we go. It's your first time here, Simmons, but believe me, this is how things normally go. Oh, yeah, I guess I could have done that. That would have been smart. That would have been smart. Alright. Alright, so I'm just going to do 10 milliliters, so I'm just going to go to 5 with this. This one's so viscous. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I'm going to go quiet for a second here because I can't concentrate on how much is in the cup and talk at the same time. Come on. One more drop. One more good drop. Alright. I like to bring up the story of the time I was literally looking at my mug as I poured hot water into it for tea, and then I got distracted thinking about something else and spilled hot water all over the counter. So it's probably best for all of us that I don't talk while I attempt to measure these accurately. Otherwise, they won't get measured accurately. I'll probably end up with resin all over the place. I'd like to think that only happened once, but I'm not sure. It's possible it's happened more than once. Alright. One more drop. Wait, actually. Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect, actually. Alright. It's so much less than I'm used to doing now. I do so much more resin than this at a time. I do still think it's really weird that a full set of dice is just one of these. Not this resin, but like one full container of this makes a full set of dice. And it just seems strange. It seems like it should be more than that. I feel like the volume of the dice is more than that, but it's not. It's just very strange to me. It feels wrong. Alright, we're going to be sitting here mixing for a minute. So, how's everybody's day going? It is actually a serious question. How is everybody doing? I've been really tired the past week, and I don't know why necessarily. It feels like I've had all sorts of like brain fog. I think maybe I was stressing out over figuring out my shop, but I've come to the realization that I should just make stuff and then sell it, as opposed to trying to figure out what I should make to sell. I'm like, I'm overthinking this. I need to just make things. So, I'm feeling better after having that little bit of a revelation. That's a conundrum. It's one of those things. Well, so I have like galaxy dice in my shop, which have stayed in my shop because they're people seem to like the galaxy dice. And so I was going to try and set up... Oh, thank you. I was going to try and set it up so that I had like kind of like staple dice, if that makes sense. Like I'll always kind of have them in stock as much as possible. But I the thing is, I don't always know what people are going to like. I know what I like, but it's quite often people, like, there's a bigger response to something that I'm like, oh, that wasn't what I was expecting people to appreciate. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work out. So I'm more excited for this idea of just making a whole bunch of different things, just trying stuff out, making stuff, and then having releasing everything on the same day, like once a month. And then maybe, depending on what the response is to different items, trying to bring some of them back, like the Galaxy Dice, keep those, or set up so that there's like 5 at a time, which is what I have. But yeah, there's so many moving parts to trying to have like your own little business. So many moving parts. All the marketing. I'm still trying to figure out where all I want to go. Maybe I'll go to TikTok instead of YouTube. I feel like the short form would work better for me. So that's an option. I've seen some cool TikTok videos of like just like pouring and unmolding and that sort of stuff. I don't have a TikTok. I've just seen videos from TikTok on other platforms. I'll be back. You want a brownie? I want a brownie. Bring me a brownie too. Yeah, certain designs come and go from current trend. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Bosun, Simmons and I both want brownies. Bring us brownies. An actual concern of mine. Obviously, I grew up playing D&D, but I've noticed that D&D has come back into style recently, and I fully expect it to go back out of style at some point. And so I worry that just doing dice is a bit of what's the word? A trend, I guess. I worry that this is going to be just kind of a trend, and then things will settle back down again. So I'm trying to think ahead a little bit too. But again, I'm probably just overthinking it. I can continue to make. I guess there's always D&D nerds, but I've been making jewelry and stuff too. I do think maybe I will make some jewelry out of all of my little extra crystals that I have over here. So I have a whole bunch of for a dump mold. So when I have a little bit of extra resin, I have little crystal molds that I just poured into. That one's one of the steadier ones, but little crystal molds that I'll pour it into. And I've been trying to figure out what to do with them. I might just turn them into pendants and set them up as necklaces, sell them individually. But so I'm still thinking up ideas for those. I could make keychains. I feel like, do people use keychains? That's a question for you guys. Do people use keychains? Like, I feel like I don't. So I don't. You miss keychains? Alright, maybe I'll have to. And phone charms. I do remember the phone charms. Yeah, I remember those. I actually have little cords for phone charms, but no phones nowadays have the little loops for the phone charms. But where did I get those? Yeah, I have the little like little cloth loop, not cloth, but cord. They're just the little cords for phone charms. And no, there's no phones nowadays that use them, that could use them. We should bring those back. We need to bring back phone charms, guys. That's there's our goal. Phone charms and capes. We need to bring back capes into style. I've been trying for a while now, but it doesn't seem to be catching on. Or cloaks. We can do cloaks instead of capes. That's fine. If you guys don't want to do capes, we can do cloaks. All right. Cat hair. There's always cat hair. Let's work its way in somehow. Let's see, is this mixed all the way? One of the ways that I check to see if it's mixed is I'll hold it up to the light because I want to make sure there's no streaks in it at all. Because if there's any streaks, it means it's not mixed completely and it won't cure. But it looks like it's streak free. But I'd rather overmix it a little bit than undermix it. I'm not too worried about there being bubbles in this. It's such a small amount that the bubbles will probably work their way out. And all of these pigments are opaque, so you're not going to see all the micro bubbles. Plus this is just a reference for me, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what this looks like all that much. Alright. Good to go. I'm just going to try to pour about 2.5 milliliters into each one of these. If you want to know why this is so messy, that's why. Alright. So yeah, if people still use keychains, then maybe I'll have to turn some of these into keychains. I did make a keychain for a friend, which I got to them today actually. I made a little glow in the dark radiation symbol. Maybe just something for out in the area. Alright. Let's do this next little bit. Which one's looking, yeah, it's gonna go on this one. This one could use a little bit more. Alright, and then I do something sometimes funky with my cups of clear here. I am going to, let's see, what color do I want? I want red. I'm going to put a drop of red in here. And the reason I'm doing that is that when it cures, I can use that little bit, tiny bit of resin in here, cut it up and put it in something else. I have a whole box of resin pieces over here. So that'll cure, it'll be red. And I can use, I have so many resin scraps, guys. I have like so many scraps of resin. I should do some more things with those. Still figuring that out. Alright, let's mix these up. You keep several in your work bag. You keep keychains or phone charms on your bag. Oh, it's so bright. What is that dark speck in there? Did I get something in here? I think I should drop something in here. I might actually not have added enough pigment. That's okay. Did I get it out? Yep, I got it out. Whatever it was. There's like a dark speck in there. It's definitely nice and bright pink though. I was expecting it to be a little bit more opaque though. Keychains. Because you keep losing them. You keep losing the keychains, you keep losing your keys. It's a lot of scraps. Yeah, I have a whole other bin of them too. I brought them out fairly recently to make some dice. Do I have this? I have the dice here. I can show you. Ooh, I definitely need to add more pigment to this one. That's not showing up at all. Oh wait, actually, you know, it might partially not be showing up because this one changes to white with heat, and resin is at least is slightly exothermic, and also I have my hand here, which is going to add a little bit of heat as well. Let me let that one sit for a moment and see if it turns more purple. It's possible it won't. I think I just need to add more pigment to these. This is a little bit more resin than I've done in the past. Oh, the keychains snag disappear. Oh, that's sad. Ooh, I like this gold. This is a nice gold, actually. That's a good sparkle to it. It looks more yellow almost, I think, in your camera. If I can get it to focus and show you all the sparkle. There we go. There's a pretty sparkle. Yeah, I can use a little bit more though. Let's grab a little bit more of all of these. Another little tiny scoop. Well, whenever Boston gets back, they can come see the gold. I'll show it off again. As long as they bring brownies. That's the important thing. Oh, you're here. Did you see the gold? Alright, that looks a little bit pigmented. I'm doing some tests here. Let me add a little bit more gold. It's not pigmented enough. Alright. Adding a little bit more and then we'll see how it looks. Is there a cat here? I think part of the reason I like this gold is because it is a little bit more of a yellow gold. And a lot of golds that I have are almost more muted, I guess. Some of them are too yellow, and some of them are like too muted, and this is kind of that nice in between spot where it's not too yellow but it's not too muted. All right. It looks so much more yellow in this stream, but it has a good shine to it. So golden black. That can be arranged. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that for a little freebie that I got thrown in with the glow pigments that I got. I'm not complaining. Oh, you're good. I figure part of the fun thing about watching things is just chilling. I have which one is Higgs from Death Stranding? I've watched like the first cutscene of Death Stranding. I want snacks. I mean, I have snacks over there, but I'm also wearing a respirator, which makes it very difficult to eat snacks. Let's see if that's enough. But again, this one might be partially not pigmented enough because it does change with temperature. It's starting to look a little bit better. I do have. You send a picture. Wow, picture of your snacks just to flaunt it. Oh, you're gonna send a picture of Higgs. Just send it a little bit more. Oh, I think it turns more pink or something with heat. All right, that's gonna be enough. Yes, it would be good to see the character. I'm gonna set this somewhere to try and warm it up and see what color it turns. We'll see. I'm gonna have to put it in a pocket or something. Alright. And then this one. Let's add a little. Actually, you know how we can test this one? I know. I was like, you're gonna show off your snacks? How dare you? Let's see how this one looks. Oh, you know, actually, it might actually have enough pigment. Oh no, my thingy fell. There we go. This one might have enough pigment because it definitely turned pink. I was worried that it didn't have enough pigment in it. I might add a little tiny bit more, just so it's a little bit more opaque. I just want to see if it gets more opaque. But I still really like photochromatic pigments. They're just really fun, guys. One of the dice sets that I'm going to have available, and I just got them all polished today. I'm going to ink them. They look like black or like a dark gray, but they are heat sensitive and they turn pink, which is fun. They were turning pink while I was initially sanding them because of the heat of my hands, which was kind of funny. But my plan is I'm going to ink them in the same kind of black color that they are, and then so when they get hot, the numbers will stand out. But when they're in just still the black, you won't be able to see the numbers. I feel like that'll be cool. There's this back up, see how it looks. It's still getting darker, I think. Alright, I think that's the max. Oh, that gets nice, like a nice, like dark rose color. Cool. Alright, these ones, so these are just my little tests. I actually have more of these cups than I think I want. Should we make something fun with some of this? Nah. I'm going to take just a little tiny bit out of these cups. A nice Merlot, yes. Up a little bit. I'm going to take just a little tiny bit out of all of these, because I want these to be thin enough that I can drill through them and add them. I don't want them too thin, but not them. Thin enough that I can actually add loops to them. I'm just going to take a little tiny bit out of here. What's that? That's looking a little bit better. Yeah, we'll take one more little dollop. Again, these are just my kind of dump molds. Just kind of add a little bit of everything if there's extra molds. I'll show you guys all of the crystals that I've ended up making. I have, for people who order custom dies, I have for the most part been, did I make one for Dolson? For the most part, if there's extra resin, been making them into keychains and stuff, but alright, that's definitely, those two are good. Oh, this one's nice and this one's pretty foamy. How's that one looking? One more little scoop. I might want to spray that one with some rubbing alcohol and get rid of all those bubbles on top. That is, I do like my method for popping bubbles. I'll show you in just a second after I get rid of a little bit of this gold. Ooh, that's a nice gold. I'm impressed with that freebie gold that I got. It looks nice. Like, look at that. It's just such a pretty, like, molten gold. Alright, I'm just gonna make a little stubby, this one here. One more scoop. I want those a little bit thinner. Alright. So there's that. For anyone who has not seen how I pop surface bubbles, a lot of people use like a torch, not a torch, but like a heat gun or a lighter. And I use rubbing alcohol, which again is left over from all of my soap stuff, because you also use rubbing alcohol on the surface of your soap. For a couple reasons, partially to try and prevent soda ash, which is kind of like build up of when it's curing of like extra moisture, kind of makes like this kind of white ashy stuff on top. It doesn't hurt the soap at all, but it looks kind of funky. And then also if you want things like glitters and stuff to stick to the top of the soap, it helps it. But it seems also to work pretty well for getting bubbles. It breaks the surface tension of the resin, and it doesn't prevent it from curing. I found more cat hair, guys. There's always cat hair. Alright. So, I'll let those, I'm just going to set these off to the side to cure. I'm not going to put them in the pressure pot. I don't care if they have little bubbles in them or not. And then we leave the respirator on. So we're going to check a couple things. So, did this get any warmer? Oh, yeah, it's turned lighter. It was like a dark purple before. I think it turns white. Oh, getting rid of bubbles is possible without fire. Yeah, I just have a little spray bottle of isopropyl alcohol. And it breaks the surface tension, so it pops the bubbles. Works out great. I don't remember how I figured that out. I think I just tried it maybe. I don't remember if I saw something or what. I don't remember. But I was going to show you guys before I sign off. All of the like dump mold stuff that I've done. That's even more cat hair. Yeah, so I have all of these crystals. Oh, that one's kind of gross looking. Oh no, it's just orange. I have all of these like crystals that I've made that are just, oh, there's some little tiny bottles as well. I do actually like this one. A little beach one. I was gonna put a little ship in there and I forgot. That's okay. But I have all of these little crystals. And I'm thinking maybe I'll turn them into like pendants and then sell them as necklaces. Oh yeah, the little bottles are really cute. I got a mold, I think on Etsy a while back. I actually have, oh, that's why. Okay, I was like, did I make, man, I should have put some clear on here. Oh man. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't find your keychain, Bosun. I could not figure it out. It's because it's still in the mold. Just a moment here. Let me glue a loop on before I forget, and so I can actually course a little bit of resin in there and do that. Well, while I'm thinking about it, because I will forget, I have a very fancy way of attaching my metal loops. It's Elmer's glue. I do then encase that in resin, but I have these little pins that have just little flat parts at the end. Just put a little tiny bit of Elmer's glue on the flat part and stick it down in the middle, or as close to the middle as like, cat hair, get out of there. You're not supposed to be there. Get out. Okay. And then just glue it down so that it sits there, and then once the glue dries, it turns clear, and then I put some clear resin over the top, and it seals it right in. But I didn't think about it, so I don't have any clear resin. Or I would have done that tonight, but I did not think about it. Alright, let me see. Yeah, so I think this goes from like a purple to like a white with heat. But I'll test it out once I have it in resin. Okay, that was I think everything that I wanted to get done for tonight. Just do a couple of tests with the chain to see if I could get it to be like stiff. Oh, hello! Thank you for following. But yes, chain to see if I can get it to be stiff in a set of dice, as well as getting little tiny pieces of chain to kind of float. Welcome as well. We're just kind of wrapping up at the moment. I'm just kind of going over what we did as a rehash. Went and made a piece of chain so that it was had its own structure, because I'm going to put it in a set of dice, as well as making some little tiny broken pieces of chain that I can stick to the sides so that they'll look like they're floating. And then past that, we have our little test colors poured. I'm gonna let those cure overnight, and I'll see how the color shift and everything looks after that. I still really like that one that changes with light, guys. That's my favorite. If anyone needs to get me anything for Christmas, it's photochromatic pigments. I don't need that, but so we'll let those cure. Just more little bubbles on top, and then just spritz that again. And that's pretty much everything. So if you guys want to hang out again, I'm here every Christmas list. I am working on a shop wish list, because I think it was Jen asked if I had one. I'm like, no. So I'm working on that, but yeah, that's everything I wanted to work on tonight. Hopefully you guys can join me again. I stream every Wednesday and Saturday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks for joining us, Tim. Hopefully you can join us next time since we're just wrapping up. But it was good having you all. It was nice meeting you, Simmons. Hopefully you can join us again. And thanks for stopping by, Avalon and Tim and Boast and everybody else. So, have a good night.